Every technology on this list was called physically impossible, not unlikely. Impossible. By people who understood the physics. All 9 now exist. Built, running, or already inside human beings. Most people still file these under someday. They're already happening. We count down the 9 closest to changing everything. What each one does, and what still stands in the way. Number 1 is the only one nobody knows how to stop. We start at 9. At number 9, a battery that cannot catch fire. Solid state. Every phone and car today runs on a liquid inside the cell. That liquid burns. It is why batteries are heavy, slow, and caged. Replace it with a solid, and the fire risk simply goes away. You can pack more energy in and charge it far harder. Every attempt cracked under pressure or shorted itself dead. A car charged in 10 minutes, not 40. Range past 1,000 kilometers on one charge. They already run motorcycles and forklifts. Cars come next. The hard part now is manufacturing. And the factories are already being built. At number 8, water pulled from dry air. Atmospheric harvesting. 2 billion people live where clean water is not guaranteed. Wells run dry, rivers fail, rain arrives in the wrong place. 1 gram of this powder unfolds to a football pitch. It grabs water from the air overnight. Sunlight releases it. Desert air was called too dry. Cooling it cost too much. The chemistry that cracked it won the Nobel Prize in 2025. A single container now makes 4,000 litres a day. Islands and desert farms are running on it right now. The blocker is cost. Making this powder at scale is expensive. At number 7, power stations in orbit. Space-based solar. Solar panels on Earth stop at night, and in cloud. Half the sunlight never arrives. The atmosphere eats the rest. In orbit, there is no night, no cloud, no atmosphere. The power comes down as a radio beam to an antenna field. For 60 years, this stayed on paper. Nobody could make it pay. Japan beamed a kilowatt down from orbit this year. Clean power that still runs at 3 in the morning. A British design is already sized for commercial supply by 2030. The blocker is launch cost. It still has to fall further. At number 6, organs grown in a lab from your own cells. Someone dies waiting for a transplant every few hours. A donor organ has to match. Most people never get one. Take the patient's own cells. Grow them onto a scaffold. Feed it in a tank until the tissue is alive and working. Any cell too far from a blood vessel simply dies. Lab-grown cells have already freed diabetics from insulin injections. No waiting list, no rejection, no pills for life. Skin, cartilage and blood vessels are already inside patients. The blocker is blood supply. Thick organs still starve inside. At number 5, a star in a box. Compact fusion. Every power station on Earth burns something or splits atoms. One leaves carbon. The other leaves waste lasting thousands of years. Fusion joins atoms instead. Same reaction that powers the sun. Magnets hold the fuel at 100 million degrees, touching nothing. For 70 years, it was always 30 years away. New magnets shrank the machine from stadium size to industrial unit. Fuel from seawater. No carbon, no meltdown, no long-lived waste. Microsoft has already signed to buy fusion power from 2028. The blocker is the grid. Connection approval takes 4 to 6 years. At number 4, resetting cells to a younger state. Age reversal. Heart disease, dementia, blindness. Aging sits behind nearly all of them. Everything works. Then slowly it doesn't. Nobody could stop that. Add 3 ingredients to an old cell. It behaves young again. In animals, blind eyes started seeing. 1 injection. Aging was considered one way. Nothing in biology ran backwards. In January, the FDA cleared the first human trial. It targets blindness first. Restoring sight, people had already lost. If it works elsewhere, old tissue could be repaired rather than replaced. Push too far and cells turn cancerous. Safety data arrives next year. At number 3, a chip that reads your intentions, neural interfaces. Paralysis cuts the wire between intention and body. The thought is still there. It just goes nowhere. A robot threads electrodes thinner than hair into the motor cortex. Think about moving your hand. A cursor moves instead. Reading intention from brain noise was considered flatly impossible. A paralyzed man played chess with his thoughts, weeks after surgery. Moving a cursor, sending a message, doing it yourself. Every morning you teach it again what your thoughts mean. Next comes speech, restored to people who cannot speak at all. At number 2, a robot that walks in and works. Humanoid labor. Every robot before this was bolted down and did one thing. Every new product meant tearing the line apart and rebuilding it. Build it human-shaped, and it fits the world we already built. It learns by watching people, not by being programmed. Walking, balancing, and handling objects at once was considered out of reach. One worked 11 months on a BMW line, loading body panels. Night shifts, heavy lifting, and the jobs that wreck human backs. The hands are the problem for now. Fingers still cannot match ours. Next, they leave the factory and come into your house. At number 1, AI that designs the next AI. Self-improvement. Every leap in AI has waited on human engineers to find it. Chip design alone takes teams of specialists months of work. AI writes thousands of versions, tests each one, keeps the winners. No human suggests the answer. It finds what nobody thought of. Machines were tools. The idea they could invent was fiction. Google's AI redesigned the chip it runs on. Months became days. Faster medicine, better batteries, cheaper power. Every field moves quicker. Humans still choose the problems and still judge the answers. The day that stops being true is the day everything changes. Which one excites you most? And which one worries you? Leave your comments.
Subscribe to Novatech. Across space, science, and technology, we don't just imagine it, we show it.